Shovel Knight and Zagreus will fight Omega Flowey, Charlotte and the Doctor will team up, and we will get a lot of lore on the rogues whilst or after they fight V1. And this isn't just theorizing, this is stuff we know will happen. It's actually crazy how much of Indie Moro reveals to his fans. With how much he is revealed, we could almost accurately predict the entire episode, assuming someone hasn't already. Of course, some of this could be subjective to change, but he is teasing stuff he already has animated. Most of this is concrete, and this is what will go on in episode 3 of Indie.
Our friend here can get you up to speed.
Hey, Zagreus! New friend?
So let's start off with the most obvious main characters of the episode. Shovel Knight and Charlotte from the previous episode will be returning, though not together. Charlotte will actually have a body, that being Game Master's, and we don't quite know how powerful she is. Also, apart from the both of them, all the rogues except Game Master will appear in episode 3, yes, including Godot. The new characters include V1 from Ultrakill, a powerful hell-killing machine that regenerates health from the blood of its enemies, Zagreus from Hades, also funnily enough a powerful hell slayer, but his hell is based on Greek mythology and he is a demigod. The Doctor from Cave Story, the main okayly powerful villain from one of the oldest indie games, and Flowey from Undertale, the weak sociopathic, manipulative, antagonistic flower that will gain the human souls and become Omega Flowey, as seen by this picture. That concludes all of the major characters. The minor characters that will appear are Shield Knight from Shovel Knight, Shovel Knight's friend that he goes on a quest to save, Misery from Cave Story, basically the Doctor's lackey and a second antagonist to Cave Story. Sans from Undertale, the lazy, funny cheater judgment figure whenever you do something bad. And Hades and Cerberus from Hades, the king of the underworld and his pet dog. The main cast's new location, that being Drifter and Madeline and Cuphead and Nico, will be revealed at the end of the credits of episode 3. The place where Drifter and Madeline will be is really dark, describing the person they meet in the realm as, it just fits. Cuphead and Nico, however, will only be in a place kind of dark, in a place easy to guess, with him saying he's seen a lot of people who already did. Yeah, so that couldn't be more vague, I don't even want to start theorizing on that, so take that as you will.
You must remain a symbol of hope to these young people. These struggles are your own to endure. But their minds must remain unburdened by your sorrow.
The story will have 2 main plots and 1 subplot. One of the main plots will be Shovel Knight and Zagreus vs Flowey in Undertale, specifically confirmed to be in Waterfall. The episode will start with the Shovel Knight dream sequence, just like we see in the teaser trailer. Then eventually Flowey will be introduced by Zagreus and they will wander around until Flowey will get the human souls. It was maybe hinted at a nightmare form, but they definitely will clash with the soulless flower and win, but it's never actually confirmed they leave Waterfall, and without a nightmare form I wouldn't know how. Moro wants to treat Zagreus' power of being reborn in the underworld to carry over to Undertale, so he should just be able to crawl out of the rivers in Waterfall just like he crawls out of the river Styx. The next revolves around, of course, V1 fighting the rogues, which will be split into 3 sections. The first section will be a flashback to when V1 killed Godot, and the other 2 are up for interpretation since Moro promised so many things for the rogues. The plot will explain the rogues' relationships, maybe why they fear getting a nightmare form, and their origin. Also explaining what petrification is, once again heavily implying that the knight and the beheaded aren't dead. And Unithor will do something very controversial that will make us hate him, prompting a flashback specifically at the climax of the episode. The episode will have 2 main fights, and since there are no fights in the subplot, V1 vs Midusara and Unithor will have to do. Moro actually implies that V1 fans are going to be disappointed with how this fight is going to end, so I don't expect V1 to win. And lastly, Moro confirmed that one character is going to be petrified this episode, but that said person not being that important. The subplot of this episode would be Charlotte meeting the Doctor in some unknown dimension, very likely that being Cave Story. We can actually see in the teaser trailer of them talking about how Charlotte presumably led V1 to the rogues, and how the Doctor doubts their deal less because of this.
It took a whole 15 times to
Of course, we don't know the motives of these two manipulators' deal, but we do see Misery, who is directly working for the Doctor, take Godot away from V1, presumably so Charlotte can absorb it. Also, Moro confirms Charlotte only needs to absorb 2 rogues to go back to her episode 1 state, so there's that. We don't know what the Doctor wants out of this deal, however, but I just theorized he wants a nightmare form.
So many possibilities.
Any rogue Charlotte absorbs will influence Charlotte's personality. So basically, Charlotte's gonna be super cocky next episode. I'd also like to think incompetence is a trait of Game Masters. Shut up and let me cope. Flowey is not from Genocide Frisk's realm. Instead, they are in a neutral Frisk's realm, and this episode will also explain how stuff like this happens, like Grillbees in the city. Also, Frisk is currently in the underground, so Flowey can't save her load. This episode will give us a lot more insight into Unithor. So, as I already explained, you and I are going to hate him for something he is going to do in this episode. Also, he probably has a huge ego and thinks he is the leader of this group. Which, I hate to admit this, but he is probably the only one with the potential to do so. Unreal is the only one who doesn't fear getting a nightmare form because he's already in one. Yeah, so that's cool and all, but what the frick is this? Apparently this was Unreal before he was in his nightmare form, so tell me why they had bro locked up tighter than Tai Lung. We don't know where this is, when this is, but at least we do know that it was probably Charlotte who trapped him. The post-credit themes could be Celeste, but I think it's way more likely that the credits theme would belong to Undertale because of how much Undertale is in it. And if we do go by the appearance of the characters in episode 1, Frisk is introduced before Madeline. But I don't know, I just feel like Celeste would fit a lot better with episode 4 since Madeline is actually in it. And lastly, sort of around the time this video is released, Indie Cross episode 3 is 2/3 done. That means, assuming full or semi-full production started 8 months ago when Moro said it did, we would see episode 3 around November or December if all of this was at a constant rate. Of course, I'm hoping earlier, and it's probably more likely to be earlier. If Moro's anything like me, the closer he gets to finishing something, the faster he makes progress on it. Plus, he confirmed all the V1 segments were almost fully animated, like a few weeks ago, and he's been asking on his Twitter for freelancers to do animation cleanups, 2D and 3D animating in VFX, so it's either he's really desperate to get this done quickly, or he's in that stage, when everything is almost done. Well, with all that said, Indie Cross is coming sooner than later, and if you want to stay updated, you should subscribe. Because not only do I have update videos about stuff like this, but all sorts of videos across the Indie Cross spectrum that will keep you entertained till episode 3 comes out. And join the Discord if you want to be updated on this stuff even faster and chat with me from time to time. Well, goodbye.